All right, let's talk about one of the internet's most powerful and, frankly, disruptive weapons, the DDoS attack. You've definitely heard the term, right? You see it pop up in headlines whenever a huge website or service just disappears. But what is it, really? And how can it bring some of the biggest names on the web to a screeching halt? Well, let's dig in. You know the feeling? We've all been there. You're trying to check the news, log into your bank, or jump into your favorite online game. You type in the address, hit enter, and nothing. Just a little spinning wheel of doom. It's like the website has completely vanished from the internet. Now, chances are that wasn't just some random glitch. You were probably stuck in a deliberate, perfectly orchestrated assault. The best way to think about it is like a massive intentional traffic jam right on the information superhighway. And your destination? It's completely gridlocked.
And that digital traffic jam has a name. It's called a distributed denial of service attack, or DDoS for short. The goal here is pretty simple and pretty brutal. You just flood a target, like a website server, with so much junk traffic from so many different places that legit users, like you and me, can't get through all the noise.
Okay, here's a really great way to picture it. Imagine hundreds of thousands of robots all trying to cram through the single front door of your favorite store at the exact same time. Real customers can't even get close to the door. The entire business just grinds to a halt. That, right there, is basically how a DDoS attack paralyzes a digital service. So, how do these attackers actually pull this off? What's in their digital arsenal? It turns out there's more than one way to cause a digital pileup. Let's break down the anatomy of one of these attacks. Generally, these attacks come in three main flavors. First up, you've got volumetric attacks. Think of these as the brute force method, just a gigantic flood of data meant to clog up the target's internet pipe. It's like pointing 1,000 fire hoses at a garden hose. Then there are protocol attacks. These are a little more clever. They actually exploit the rules of the internet itself to exhaust resources, like firewalls, until they just give up and crash. And finally, you have the most sophisticated type, application attacks. These are sneaky because they look like real user traffic, targeting one specific part of a website, like its login page, to wear it out until it collapses. Now, you're probably wondering, where does all this attack traffic even come from? Well, most of the time, the answer is a botnet. This is the attacker's own personal zombie army, a huge, sprawling network of compromised computers, servers, and other devices that have been secretly infected with malware. They're all just sitting there, dormant, waiting for one single command to wake up and launch an attack. And this is where things get really, really alarming. That zombie army is getting bigger every single day, and it's all thanks to the explosion of the Internet of Things, or IoT. We're not just talking about computers anymore. We're talking about the more than 15 billion connected devices in our homes and offices. Things like security cameras, smart TVs, routers, even our refrigerators. And this gets right to the heart of the problem. Why are these devices so easy to hack? Honestly, it often comes down to money. To keep prices low and rush products to the market, a lot of them are shipped with super simple default passwords and almost no real security features. This makes them ridiculously easy for attackers to infect and enslave, turning our convenient smart homes into the unwitting soldiers of a massive global botnet. Now, these attacks aren't new, but their sheer power has grown like crazy over the years. When you look back at their history, you see this clear and frankly terrifying trend. They're just getting bigger and smarter. I mean, the story of DDoS is really a story of escalation. It started back in 1999 with a teenager taking down giants like Yahoo and CNN. Fast forward to 2007, and you have entire countries in the crosshairs, with Estonia's digital backbone getting paralyzed. Then came 2016 and the Mirai botnet, built from those insecure IoT devices we just talked about, which unleashed attacks on a scale no one had ever seen. And just a few years after that record was completely shattered. The wave just keeps getting bigger and bigger. This chart really puts the insane scale of these attacks into perspective. The attack on GitHub in 2018, it was considered massive at the time. Just 2 years later, the attack on AWS was nearly twice as big. And then, get this, in 2022, Google had to deal with an attack that was hitting them with 46 million requests every single second. To put that into perspective, that's like the entire population of Spain trying to log into the same website at the exact same moment every second. The scale is just mind-boggling. So that leads to the big question, who is actually launching these digital sieges? And why are they doing it? Well, the motivations are just as varied as the attackers themselves. The biggest driver, making up about 40% of attacks, is plain old extortion.
criminals take a site offline and then demand a ransom payment to make it stop. But you also have hacktivists who use DDoS as a form of political protest, state-sponsored actors engaging in cyber warfare, and even shady businesses trying to knock their competition offline. And yeah, believe it or not, a small slice are just digital vandals doing it for fun or bragging rights.
And the impact of a successful attack? Well, it's devastating. It's not just that our website is down. For a business, every single minute of downtime is lost money. It destroys customer trust and can permanently tarnish a brand's reputation. And sometimes the DDoS attack is just a distraction, a big noisy smokescreen to keep the security team busy while the real crime, like stealing data, is happening behind the scenes.
So when you're facing a threat this powerful and this sophisticated, how in the world do you fight back? How do you build a shield strong enough to stop the flood? Well, luckily, the defense has been evolving right alongside the offense.
The modern defense strategy really breaks down into 3 key steps. First is detection. You have these incredibly smart systems that are watching the traffic 24/7, looking for any weird patterns that signal an attack. The moment an attack is detected, step 2 kicks in. All traffic, the good, the bad, all of it, is instantly rerouted to a special cleaning facility, often called a scrubbing center. And that's where step 3 happens. The malicious attack traffic gets filtered out, and only the clean, legitimate traffic is allowed to pass through to its destination. This whole defense relies on a bunch of powerful tools working together. You've got web application firewalls, or WAFs, that act like intelligent bouncers for a website, blocking bad requests. Rate limiting is like a traffic cop, slowing down anyone who looks suspicious. And massive content delivery networks, or CDNs, use their huge global networks to just absorb the punch of an attack. This has become such a huge problem that a whole industry has popped up to fight it, with big players like AWS, Cloudflare, and Akamai building these enormous digital shields for their customers.
And all of this brings us to the most important question for our digital future. The attacker's army of insecure devices is growing every single day, turning our smart homes into potential weapons. Defending against it is a constant, expensive arms race. So the real takeaway here is that the security of the internet doesn't just fall on big companies building bigger shields. It also depends on us and on the companies making all these countless devices we bring into our lives to make security a priority from day one. The battle for a secure internet isn't just fought in data centers, it's also fought right inside our own homes.